Hello, spooky followers. My name is Indigo Graham, here with a brand new spooky review. This time around, I'm going to be talking about a creepypasta that is actually not brand new. You probably know this one is actually pretty unique, and he is actually a scientist who experiments on his last victim. You know him, you love him, you fear his needles of viruses. Name X virus. This creepypasta is pretty unique. After all, he's actually the first human not dead or mutilated or other than the others. If I remember right. Bear with me here. I do know that he has a lot of names. But his original name is called Kobe. His past is pretty, not good. Basically, let, let me explain. His backstory is pretty, sad. For example, his mother, and again, I'm kind of pissed at the mother, but I'll get over it. Basically, the mother who neglected him. Basically, neglected Colby all his life. They did not know about his biological father either. So, proper authority took him away and put him in an orphan until he was 13 years old. For him, surprisingly, I can't say that right, that a 13-year-old getting adopted, especially at his age, because a lot of times, not sure, but most of the time small kids will be adopted than teenagers. But here we are. His adopted father was a scientist, basically. So, he became his, not science partner, but he helps out with the lab, basically. He actually kind of liked it, in my own opinion. I do like crime labs, in my own opinion. Really, Indigo here. I love crime lab. I literally would like to work in one day. But back to X virus here. He actually had a work journal he wrote down formula and drew sketches of viruses that his adopted father worked with. Basically, the lab took most of his school time. And this is why I get mad. His classmate found out and they called him weirdo because what they found in his journal. In my opinion, one, stay out of people's personal belongings. Seriously, it's none of your business. And two, not good. But he did learn a lot about the virus and other, that he decided to carry out his own experiments. He only used animals, lab test subjects. But this way it gets weird. When the virus takes over the animal, they die, they make a certain sound. And he liked it. Actually, he was excited, basically. And that's when the madness came in. He thought, what would happen what a human sounds like? basically. Every time he talked to a normal person, uh, he was called sick and disturbing. In my own opinion, I would be the same. Because in my own opinion, that is really disturbing if you think about it. I mean, don't get don't get me wrong. I'm a Halloween spirit, but even a Halloween spirit has at least a little bit of humanity here. So this is where it begins. So one night, he, when everyone was asleep, Kobe put a black jacket, blue jeans, and yes, he does wear the outfit. And also, he found a blue goggles, an old gas mask, filled up with syringes full of who gosh knows what type of virus that he got his little grubby hands on. And he found his signature weapon of choice, a bat with nails in it. You know, like one of those who makes in a apocalypse world full of zombies. But that's his weapon of choice. So he went out in the town, his town, broke into chose a random house, broke into it, killed everyone except one. Yes, I said one. And it was an old man. So, taking one of his syringes full of virus, he stabbed the man. Well, he immobilized them first. Basically, he probably hit him with a bat first. Then, shoot him up with a needle full. Again, I got no fucking idea what type of needle he stuck him in. I just know it was a virus. And when the virus took over him, the man made a groaning sound, basically. And then he died. This actually has a excited X virus to it. So yeah. So whoops. Wrong one. Sorry. I seriously need to keep an eye on which button I'm pressing. So that what happened. But there's another problem. When he got back home, his father was waiting for him to wait. So instead, in my own opinion, he should have kept his mouth shut. But he actually told his father what happened. That the science, but instead of his father excited what he done, he was terrified of it, of what this boy done, basically. But so the adopted father thought it was okay. I was horrified and disgusted of what this boy done. So he tried to call the police. Colby said, well, you know what I'm getting at. He got his bat, whoops, and killed his own father, basically. Then he left, running toward the research lab, grabbed everything he can full of viruses and everything, and samples of all kinds of viruses, and he escaped. So yeah. But instead, after he escaped, he went to the woods. In the woods, The boy then said, and he found someone. You probably know another creepypasta named Tiki Toby. Yeah, these two men basically get out of here, basically wearing his usual outfit with the two hatchet, saying this, "Get out of there. I know you. You you have nothing to hide." So that's when they formed a bond. Actually, X, if I remember right, X Virus actually called him a brother of sorts, or a brother figure, basically. But when Kobe actually, when he about to say his name, the only thing that came out was X Virus. That's his new name in the creepypasta world. But since Tiki Toby is one of Slenderman's proxies, now, and yeah, let me explain. Since Tiki Toby is a Slenderman's proxy, and X Virus thought of Tiki Toby as a brother figure of sorts, so X Virus became the next proxy to Slenderman, basically. Kinda ironic, huh? Basically. Now, in my own opinion, this boy, even though I'm a Halloween spirit, this boy is actually pretty unique. He's actually just a boy with a lot of curiosity, but more of a mad scientist, in my own opinion. Like, like Frankenstein. Not the monster, the scientist who created the monster. Basically, X-Virus is pretty unique. He's like a mad scientist, wanting to experiment with living experiments, or not animals, human experiments, to figure out what made them tick, how they die, or other. This is also the first, well, a few human creepypastas, if I remember right. This boy, for me, even though I do like a few experimentation on my end, but I'm a witch. Yeah, a witch had to experiment with herbs and spells and all that, or alchemy. Not what this boy does. But if you think about it, he might use one of my spells to create another virus or something. Not sure. I'm not going to think about it too much. This creepypasta is still unique, especially his outfit and his weapon choice. So that's why. Unfortunately, I do kind of feel bad for him, especially in his classmates. Seriously, so what? He's a scientist, kid. I think half of you, not all, but maybe a few of you have scientist parents. You probably understand what I'm talking about. For me, I'm more of a crime lab type here. But I do kind of feel bad for him. But, like I said, scientists have a fine line. There's good science, and then there's mad science. And that's what X-Virus went to. Instead of helping people, he went to the mad scientist part, using viruses as his weapon. And here's a trick. This boy only kills on, kills most, but only one. Where he takes them away, mobilize them, probably using that bat of his and breaking someone's legs. Okay? Or either, or he's fine. Depending whether he hits. And he uses his and takes him away to his lab for experimental game. Trust me, this boy is no joke. If you see him, the only thing I can say is run. Don't look back. Just run. Because if he catches you, just say you'll be his next experiment. Or if you see him or Tiki Topi, the only thing I can say is good fucking luck and hopefully you run fast. At least fast enough that they can't catch you. Or if you got a friend, and I am so sorry I'm about to say this, but outrun your friend. Okay? I am so sorry, but if you want to stay alive from these two, best bet is to run your ass off. Not even kidding. But that's all I know about this lovely creepypasta. And I got another music review. Now, I do like the story of X-Virus. Even though I do feel bad for the boy. I would literally highly recommend you go check out his story if you want to take a good read. But I got another spooky music review to do. Or another creepy review as well. So until then, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay spooky.